Did you know? Captive tigers in the US alone outnumber the amount of wild tigers worldwide. The US is estimated to have around 5,000 captive tigers. Most are kept by private owners, not zoos. Meanwhile, the global wild tiger population is 3,700 to 5,600. That means there's a good chance there are more pet tigers in Texas than in all of India's jungles. But here's the catch: most captive tigers aren't in accredited sanctuaries. They're in backyards, roadside attractions used for selfies, often with little oversight. This patchwork of laws means conservation gets tricky, and welfare concerns grow. So remember, spotting a tiger in the wild is rare but surprisingly common in America's suburbs. Did you know? In the US, the day after Thanksgiving is often nicknamed Brown Friday by plumbers. Thanksgiving is the biggest food holiday in America, and households cook huge meals with turkey, stuffing, potatoes, gravy, and grease-heavy side dishes. Afterward, pipes get clogged because people pour grease, oil, and food scraps down the drain. Toilets also see heavier use because so many friends and family members are visiting. The Friday after Thanksgiving is the busiest day of the year for plumbers. Companies like Roto-Rooter and other large plumbing services consistently report a 50% increase in service calls on this day. Common issues: clogged kitchen sinks, backed up garbage disposals, toilet and sewer line problems. While retailers celebrate Black Friday, plumbers jokingly call it Brown Friday because of the messy nature of their emergency calls. So yes, it's a real nickname in the plumbing world, and one of those quirky Thanksgiving side effects. Did you know? Although GPS is free for the world to use, it costs $2 million per day to operate. The Global Positioning System, or GPS, is owned and operated by the US Department of Defense. That means every time you check a map, order a ride, track a pizza, you're relying on satellites paid for by US taxpayers. The bill? About $2 million per day, or roughly $750 million a year to keep it running. Why spend so much? GPS started as a military tool, but after a tragic airline incident in 1983, the US made it free for civilians worldwide. It's not just generosity. Controlling GPS gives the US major influence over global navigation. Could the US cut you off? Technically, yes, they can restrict or jam signals, especially during conflicts. That's why countries like Russia, China, the EU built their own systems. So next time you get directions, thank a taxpayer, and remember, free isn't always free. Did you know? Flossing your teeth can benefit your brain health and memory. Studies have found that people with gum disease or tooth loss have a higher risk of memory decline and dementia. Bacteria from the mouth can enter the bloodstream and even reach the brain, where they may trigger inflammation linked to memory problems. Inflammation connection. Chronic inflammation is harmful to the brain. Oral bacteria such as Porphyromonas gingivalis have been detected in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. Flossing reduces plaque buildup and lowers the chances of gum disease, which in turn reduces inflammation. Did you know? About 30 to 35% of cats don't respond to catnip. It's all in their DNA. Cats need a special catnip response gene to feel the magic. If they don't have it, they'll ignore catnip like it's yesterday's kibble. For cats that do react, it's all thanks to an oil in catnip called nepentolactone. When these cats sniff it, it fires up their brain's emotion and behavior centers, making them roll, purr, drool, zoom around like furry maniacs. But the high only lasts about 10 minutes, and then they're immune for a while. Fun fact, kittens under 6 months usually don't care at all. Big cats can be affected too. Tigers, leopards. If your cat's a non-responder, don't worry. Silver vine, valerian root might still get their paws moving. So next time your cat ignores catnip, just blame their genes, not your shopping skills. Did you know? There is a company that sells mirrors that make people look 10 pounds or about 4.5 kg thinner. Let's talk about the wildest skinny scam you've never heard of. Meet the Skinny Mirror, founded in California by Belinda Jasmine. This wasn't your average mirror, it used a clever curve to make you look 5 to 10 pounds slimmer. They sold these magic mirrors to shoppers directly. They also sold them to retail stores too. Some of those mirrors cost over $5,000 each. And yes, the illusion worked. Studies showed people felt better. People also bought more when using it in stores. It even landed on Shark Tank, but the sharks passed. The sharks were worried it was misleading to customers. They also thought it might be even harmful. The company closed less than a year later. Next time you try on jeans and think, wow, I look good, check if the mirror is in on the secret. Did you know? There is an insurance policy issued against alien abduction. Back in 1987, the St. Lawrence Agency sold it. If you could prove you'd been snatched by extraterrestrials, you'd get a $10 million payout. But the catch? They'd pay you $1 a year for 10 million years. Other companies jumped in with similar gag policies. And yes, people have actually tried to claim their coverage. One woman even passed a polygraph test successfully. She earned a tiny payout, emphasis on tiny. It's technically real, but it's more about laughs than liability. Would you sign up? Or are you happy with just home? Or auto? Did you know? Brain fibers gradually shrink or get damaged every decade. Inside your brain there are bundles of white matter, think of them as high-speed internet cables connecting different brain regions. As we hit our 40s and 50s, these cables start to lose their spark. Myelin can wear down, axons may shrink, axons may get damaged. This makes signals travel slower, you might notice your memory or attention isn't as zippy. Fun fact, your brain shrinks about 5% every decade after 40. But don't panic. Regular exercise, mental challenges, good sleep, healthy food can help keep your brain's connections buzzing for longer. So maybe add brain maintenance to your to-do list. Did you know? Ant queens can live for up to 30 years. When it comes to lifespan, ant queens put the rest of their colony to shame. Some, like the common black garden ant queen, can live nearly 30 years. That's longer than many cats and way longer than any worker ant. Queens spend most of their time safe inside the nest, protected by an army of workers. Plus, their bodies are built for one thing: laying eggs for years on end. Workers might only last a few months, males just a few weeks. Scientists discovered this by tracking queens in labs for decades. Imagine that job. So next time you spot an anthill, remember, there's probably a matriarch inside who's been ruling since before you were born. Did you know? Starfish don't have blood like we do. Instead of veins and blood, starfish pump seawater through a network of canals inside their bodies. This water vascular system is like a built-in plumbing upgrade that helps them move, eat, and even breathe. They've also got a hemal system, a fluid-filled space, but it's not really blood, and it definitely doesn't carry oxygen the way ours does. Instead, starfish suck in oxygen straight from the water through tiny skin gills and their tube feet. And those tube feet, powered by seawater, they let the starfish grip rocks, stroll along the ocean floor, and pry open clams like tiny hydraulic machines. So next time you spot a starfish, remember, they're running on pure ocean power. Did you know? Only 2 diseases have actually been erased from Earth. First up, smallpox, caused by the variola virus. This nasty bug killed up to 500 million people last century. Thanks to a global vaccination campaign, the World Health Organization declared smallpox eradicated in 1980. The last natural case, Somalia, back in '77. Today, smallpox exists only in 2 super secure labs and nowhere else. The second champ, rinderpest, cattle plague. It devastated herds, triggered famines, and haunted farmers for centuries. But by 2011, after massive vaccination efforts, rinderpest was officially declared eradicated by the World Organization for Animal Health. This marked only the second time in history that a disease was wiped out globally. Did you know? While shedding, geckos will eat their skin. When geckos shed their skin, they don't just leave it lying around. Nope, they actually eat it. First, it's like a protein snack, recycling nutrients straight from their old skin. Second, it's all about survival. If they leave skin behind, predators could track them down, so they gobble it up and erase the evidence. Plus, it keeps their home tidy. It prevents mold. It prevents bacteria. Unlike snakes, they shed in one dramatic piece. Geckos peel their skin off in patches. They start peeling at the mouth, and they eat it as they go. Even pet geckos do this. So next time you see a gecko munching on its own skin, don't worry, it's just nature's way of being smart. Did you know? Most traditional violin bows are strung with horsehair. Why horsehair? Friction and grip. Violin strings need the bow to grip and release them rapidly to produce sound. Horsehair has tiny natural scales along each strand, which catch the string when coated with rosin, a sticky tree resin. This microscopic texture is what makes bowing work. Horsehair is strong but flexible, able to withstand constant tension and friction without snapping too easily. Availability. Horsetails provide long, relatively uniform hairs perfect for bows. Synthetic hair, made from nylon or other polymers. It's cheaper, vegan-friendly, and weather-resistant, but many musicians say it doesn't produce the same warmth or grip as real horsehair. The horsehair industry usually sources tails from horses already being raised for other purposes, e.g. meat, farming. That said, some musicians prefer synthetic alternatives to avoid animal-derived products. Did you know? The Anglo-Portuguese alliance is recognized as the oldest active alliance in the world. It began with the Treaty of Windsor in 1386, signed between King Richard II of England and King John V of Portugal. Actually, its roots go back even earlier to 1373, with a treaty of perpetual friendship between Edward III of England and Ferdinand and Eleanor of Portugal. It was a powerful mutual defense and friendship treaty. Each nation promised to support the other against all enemies. This was especially important during the Middle Ages, when both nations often faced threats from larger neighbors. The alliance has since evolved into more of a symbolic and diplomatic friendship, as both are now members of NATO and the UN. However, it is still formally considered valid and occasionally reaffirmed by both governments. So, at over 650 years old, the Anglo-Portuguese alliance is widely regarded as the single longest unbroken alliance in world history. Like and subscribe for more fun facts.